Okay, so getting started with Onshape. If you don't have an Onshape account already, go to this page right here to get your account set up. It's going to give you an education account, so you have all the extra features without having to pay for any of them. So it's all free extra features that you get just for being a student. So you're gonna sign in and you have to put in like your school info, the school name, the school website, all that kind of stuff, and use your school email, and you'll get an immediate verification email to set up your education account. Okay, so the URL for that, let me close down my browser real quick into the frame. It's onshape.com/en/education/. Put that on the screen as well though, and I'll put it in the description. Okay, so once you have that and you sign in, this is exactly what you're going to see. I obviously have drawings here, but you won't. You would have just kind of an empty space, but this is kind of your workspace where you have things that are shared with you, things that are created by you, things that you've recently opened, and kind of just your overall space as well. So it's kind of like your Google Drive, okay? So this is where you're going to create, and you are going to make a document, and that's going to bring something up. I'll just call it untitled just for now, just for the purpose of this. You can always change that by coming up here and clicking it, just like a Google Doc, same kind of process. Okay, so what you see right here is your workspace, right? So we have a couple things going on. We have 3 different planes. We have a front plane, a right plane, and a top plane. So this is what you can work off of when you're making sketches, or this is how you also can view your object with your view cube up here. So we have a front, top, right. If you move it around, you'll also see that we have a back, left, and a bottom. You can move around easily with the view cube by selecting the corners or selecting the sides or selecting the faces to kind of see face on what you need to look at, okay? Also, you can see that those things are over here, your top plane, your front plane, your right plane, and the origin, that little dot in the center. You can always turn these off if you need to with the little eyeballs. For whatever purpose. I like to keep them on, at least for the beginning, so I can snap to them. Once they're off, you can't really use them to your benefit. So I like to keep them on because it helps me with snapping purposes. Other than that, for navigation, we have just what you can do with your mouse. So hopefully you have a mouse. If you do, your left mouse button is your main mouse button, right? We have our different selection ways that we can drag our mouse. And then we also have our right mouse button, and that is going to help us kind of navigate around as far as rotating goes. So this is my right mouse button, and then the last thing on your mouse is your scroll wheel. So if I press on my scroll wheel and move my mouse from left to right or just anywhere around by pressing on my scroll wheel, that's how I can physically move my view, okay? And then obviously scrolling would be your zoom. If you're on a trackpad, it's gonna be the same process. This is my left click on my trackpad. It's my selections. My right click on my trackpad, which I use 2 fingers on my Mac, is gonna be exactly the same thing as what I just showed you. You can zoom with your trackpad. And then to move, like I showed with the mouse wheel, if you don't have a mouse and you're on your trackpad, for me, I'm on my Mac, and I do a right click and I hold down Control, and then I move my right clicking around on my trackpad while I'm holding down the right click, and that's what moves everything around. If you're on a PC of some kind, I don't know what it would be, maybe Command, because you don't have Control, but that's just going to be something that you need to figure out. But if you do have a mouse or even access to a mouse that you can use just sometimes when you're drawing, that is going to be so helpful for you. But the view cube is really going to help you get back to home. So make sure you use that. Other than that, on the left, we have our feature list, which is over here, and our parts list. So these are going to populate as you start to make things. So for example, if I make a sketch, on the top, and I just put a circle there. You can see that that sketch is now on my feature list. Say I extruded that circle now, you can see that that extrusion is now on my feature list, and now it added a part to my parts list because that is now a part, right? This thing right here, this little gray bar, is called your rollback bar. You can move this up and down on your feature list to kind of roll back in time through your edits, right? So I can move this rollback bar to above my extrusion, and it's like it never even happened. It's like it's not even there. So I can see what that model and that drawing was like before I did that extrusion. I can do whatever I need to do to it, and I can roll that rollback bar back down and see where I'm at right now. Okay, if I ever need to go into a sketch or an extrusion or wherever it is to edit it, you can just double click, or you can right click on it and you get all of these different options. One of them is edit. The other thing is measuring. If I click on anything really on my model, say I just click on this top edge, I'm gonna get a measurement down here. So this is telling me the diameter of that circle is 3.563 inches. If I just choose the face, it's gonna tell me the area. If I choose the top edge and I come around and I choose the bottom edge, it's gonna tell me the distance between each two. And see if I hover over that, that's the distance that it's showing me, that 1 inch, that's my extrusion. So that's really helpful to know as well. Again, I can turn any of these things off if I need to. I can turn on the sketch if I need to use it again. I can turn that back off, and I can turn off and on all of these different planes and the origin as needed. Again, I can also turn off the part. If I want to get rid of the part, say I have many parts and one of them is getting in the way, just turn off the eyeball. The other thing that you have is up here your toolbar. This is all of your tools. So these are all of like your modifying tools right now because I'm not in a sketch. But if I went back into my sketch, these are all my sketch tools, okay? So a lot of things that you may have already seen before, a lot of things that are pretty self-explanatory, like rectangles, circles, those kinds of things. There's also these little carrots that if you come down, you have other options other than the one that you see above. So for example, if I go under rectangle, I have a corner rectangle, but I also have a center point rectangle. So there's a lot of options there. A lot of options in different constraints that I can use for different things. So those are really nice to check out as well. As with any tool, if you hover over it, you get not only the name of the tool, but you also get a little description on what the tool does and how to use it. So for example, the mirror one, it says what it's going to do and a 2-step process on how to use the tool. So that's really helpful. I'm not going to go through every tool right now, but if you hover over it, just know that there is that feature and it'll tell you exactly step by step what you need to do. Also, if you come into the drawing space, like right now when I did my measurements, you saw that I was in inches. Say I need to be in millimeters, there's 2 options. You can either actually put in millimeters, like say I did a line, and I can put in, that needs to be 16 millimeters and hit enter and it'll do it for me. Or you can also change your units by coming up to these 3 little lines, your document menu, and changing your workspace units to whatever you need them to be, whether they're millimeters, centimeters, meters, yards, feet, whatever. The last thing that I want to make sure that you know how to do is share this document, right? So when we get a lot of things going, we're going to have multiple part studios and assemblies down here. So this is a part studio, an assembly we'll talk about later. But you can always add more part studios or assemblies with this little button down here. So having everything in one place, having all your part studios in one place as opposed to different documents is going to help when you need to share them, right? So having everything under one document in multiple different part studios or multiple different assemblies means that you only need to share this one thing. And when I open it up, I'll be able to see all the different part studios that you have, all the different assemblies that you have. They're like tabs inside this one document. So up here is a blue share button. I click on that and you get all of your sharing options. So this is to share with people individually. You're not going to be doing that with me because I don't want my my home screen to be filled with all of your documents from every single person that I have. So you're not going to be typing my email in here. What you are going to be doing is going to link sharing. When you first make a document, it's going to be off, so you have to turn link sharing on, and it's going to give you this link, and this is a viewable link. Okay, so it says anyone with the link can view, right? You can always edit that. You can make them also be able to export, but just for this purpose, anyone with the link can view. So it's just like a Google Doc, right? So you're going to copy that link, and then that link is what you give to me, and I can come into this document, I can open that link, and it'll bring me straight to here. I can see all your part studios, I can see all of your assemblies, but I can only view it, right? So I can also click on things and get that measurement tool and do all of that. I can't edit it though, just viewing. So that's how you share with me. Those are the basics of setting up with Onshape. I'll go over assemblies and the details with that in another video, but for this one, this is just overall how to make an account, how to get in, what different areas of the workspace are, how they work, how to navigate, those kinds of things. If you need anything, let me know.